But yeah, that outsole is just way thicker, beefier. You're taller, you're higher up off the ground. You for sure feel it. Higher up off your board. So I like this one better personally because I'm closer to the ground, closer to the board. And it's thinner too, so I literally have more board feel. So in just every aspect of board feel, being thinner and everything, and it got a little less shit in it. I like this one. So I did 100 kickflips in both of them individually, and I'll just show that damage. About 1 week's worth of damage is what 100 kickflips is, more or less. It's just done in the course of like a day versus spread out over a week. So I'll show that damage, and then with the Air Forces, I actually did 200 of them on a less sticky sheet of mob grip versus the dunks, but then I went to another sheet of mob grip, far more sticky, probably stickier than, or about the same than the mob grip I used on the dunks, and then I did another set of 100, and it's holding on way better from what I can see. So I'm fairly certain that longevity in the upper material and the rubber toe cap, especially since there's more rubber to go through and everything, I feel like it's just gonna last quite a bit longer. But regardless, that's a grain of salt. You can take it with, and you can take all the salt. Yeah, see, the outsole is just way taller, significantly taller, beefier, chunkier. You gotta stomp the yard in these motherfucking boots, man. And with that comes less board feel, but also better impact protection and overall support just walking around skating longer term. So there's definitely a trade-off, and it's just based on your personal preference, more or less. What in the Minecraft is going on? Yeah, so overall, the whole pickaxe. So the comfort and support overall, and this is just that much better from like the top down. So just walking around, skating in it, everything, you just get way more out of it for sure. And if these don't hurt, the impact is perfectly fine. It's just these are way better. But if you want to jump, you probably want to go with these. The only issue, at least for me, is I can't feel my tricks are not as dialed and up to par. They're perfectly fine, and they look better than they feel, but there's way more effort. So with these, I can just plug in, get to going, skating, get more tech, flip in. We won't flip out, we barely flip in. But going off stuff, yeah, I feel the confidence in my tricks are already there. And it requires less effort. Because again, these are just thick, pretty bottom heavy. Yeah, all the weight, not that they're too crazy. They're definitely on the heavier side of things, but yeah, so this is just overall more effort. Damn, nigga, them knees was great. More effort to get your tricks going, but that doesn't mean they don't get to going and flip plenty well enough. With something wider, especially square, probably more so square than anything else, let alone bottom heavy. It's just way more effort. It doesn't feel as crisp. It doesn't feel like it flips as fast. It definitely doesn't look like that, but there's way more effort. And again, it gets the hitting perfectly fine. It's just perfectly fine for a lack of board feel type of cup sole. That's just what you get used to when you learn to skate cup soles. And it's not crazy heavy. It's within the normal range of like heavier cup soles. I mean, so if you already do cup soles, you'll be good to go. You'll be tuned in. You'll be plugged in. It's just way more padding, way more cushion. It's just unparalleled. This isn't too bad, but it just cannot compete. It can't compete. The neck of the shoe this is way more comfortable, more padded through and through. It's thick all the way down. Not thick about here, but really thick. This is kind of whatever. Tongues are thick on both of them though. But yeah, this one, you could have just did the padding 360 like you got with the dunk. They both have that little weird hee-haw on the back right here. Ankle support, but then they have that additional little. But yeah, this fits closer to the foot, so it hugs and you take advantage of all the padding it has. More so than this one. And of course, this one having more padding is just, yeah, this one really hugs your foot. Oh, that's not how that goes. But with the insoles, this is just whatever. You got the little blank, little moldy, little stank foot ass boy. but this is pretty thick actually. This is real thick in addition to this thick outsole. But this one has that little zoom unit, whatever. Pretty hard, firm, dense, does what it's supposed to. Portion here, that zoom unit, right here, that's basically in here. Not the same thing, but I mean, built into the insole of the Air Force One, you have that same system, so you don't even need it on this one. So that's what really sets it apart, the internals of them. And that's why, again, this has a lot less board feel, but significantly more support. Both got the tongue straps. And just overall, like, I feel way more support in these. Walking around, skating, everything. It's just, again, not the most ideal if you really like to flip your board a lot with a good amount of board fill in mind. So if you can forego that, like a lot of people can, so you get all the benefits of the added durability, structure, comfort, everything like that, with a thicker cup sole, then that's perfectly fine. My nollie is trash, typically. And my backside flips forever, they just wrap, they Casper flip, until I figure it out. When it's more pointed, more dialed, less chunky, my flips are quicker, faster, more dialed, catch them better. Everything about them just feels better, even if they kind of look the same or flip pretty fast. You think I'm lying, but they feel chunky, they feel delayed, more clunky. And it's just, I don't know, versus something more normal, let alone skinnier. The toe box is definitely square. See, looking down, they kind of look rounded when you look at the upper, but it's the actual layer that matters, the outsole rubber, that really controls the form of the shoe, the shape of the shoe. So it both look pretty rounded, normal, but when you get that squareness is where you get to the outsole, which is actually making contact with the board. So that's what you really look at, it's the outsole rubber, not just this part of the toe cap. And yeah, that's where you see that rounded point versus that rounded squareness to it. Like I said, the impact is not bad in these. The top-down structure is not bad. Definitely has waned, but it's been like a full month already. These are done. These been done. But something like this is just gonna have more. It's gonna get you more mileage through and through. So again, the biggest trade, and they both are overpriced, but the biggest trade-off is going to be if you like something wider, bulkier. Yeah, if you need something wider, these are probably better. The midfoot is okay in both of them. This one is a lot better, but this one does have more room in the toe box versus this one that gets really pointy. This one kind of holds its width. So if you got wide feet, for sure, get these. If you need more structure and support, get these, or put some different insoles in these if you do run with some dunks, which are going to be cheaper now at this point. So 1 week in these versus 2 versus 3, 4, whatever. This one's always going to be holding on that much more better. I think even in terms of the wear, from the rubber to the upper, it's just holding on way better. Even though this is like a month in, this is just, so keep that in mind. This has been a full month. It's been about 2 weeks. But yeah, I can already tell it's just holding on way better. Not to the point that any of these are worth the $240 I got right now. Shit. But yeah, that outsole is just way thicker, beefier. You're taller, you're higher up off the ground. You for sure feel it. Higher up off your board. So I like this one better personally because I'm closer to the ground, closer to the board. Oh, so after 100, things are not looking too bad. I thought we were going to have some problems with the shoe, but yeah, so far it's holding on like a normal shoe. That is a lot. That's like chunks, nigga. Somebody nibbled on this motherfucker. It's that one particular area where I happen to be flicking off of. I noticed that on a lot of shoes. Like, I expect like a whole little, but sometimes it'd be like one little. But yeah, the most amount of damage is definitely on the rubber. But that's not even anything concerning, really. Dude, that shit really did. If it keeps on like that, though, then yeah, that would be a problem, but probably won't. A little bit of the stitching coming up, but the actual shoe is not coming undone. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.